Is education a privilege or a right? Nelson Mandela once spoke about a very famous quote which all of us has lived by. Education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. But the problem is, how can we possibly change the world if education is made available for rich people? How can we possibly change the world if education is not accessible for everyone? And how can we possibly change the world if education in itself is a manifestation and an instrument of a class divide? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I firmly believe that education is a right. It is a basic human right that is entitled to each and every one of us, regardless of the socio-economic inequalities enrooted in our society. As a youth and as a hope for this country, we should know what is education as a right, why is it fundamental, and why is it important. The answer to all these questions, we must know the facts. First, what is education as a basic human rights? According to a manual on rights-based education, the right to education should be legally guaranteed without any discrimination. States and the government should protect, respect, and fulfill this right to education, and they are held accountable for any violations and deprivations on this right to education. Next, why is it fundamental? Why is it important? Both individuals and society benefit the right to education. A pivotal repercussion of education is that it drives local and global economy. A very powerful tool in harnessing the fullest potential of each and everyone, including their human dignity and the collective well-being. In particular, the very importance of this right to education is it is an empowerment right. It gives us empowerment. It lifts marginalized groups out of poverty, and it is an indispensable means of realizing other rights. Now, education is a right, and it should encompass the 4 A's: available, accessible, acceptable, and adaptable. Available in a way that education should be free and is equipped with adequate facility and teachers in bridging the learning process. Accessible in a way that it should be non-discriminatory. It should be inclusive, most especially for the marginalized and underrepresented communities around our country. Acceptable in a way that it should be relevant and culturally appropriate. And adaptable, it should evolve in the changing needs of our society. Truly, education is not a luxury. It is a right, a basic human right. And let us not allow this socio-economic inequalities and difference in our social structure to be a hindrance in attaining this right to education. Let us not allow these socio-economic inequalities shape and define our future. We have the right to education regardless of your gender, your race, your background, your rank in the society, your social status. Regardless of all these, we have the right to education. Education is a right for everyone. And I would like to say that at some points, the roots of education may extremely and intensely bitter, but in the long run, it will yield the sweetest and the precious fruits. Thank you.